We have 2 children in this family who are placed in different homes. There seem to be some competing interest among the family members. This appears to be a case where we could benefit by the additional services of CASA. I'm going to ask that CASA be appointed and that a volunteer assume responsibility for this case as quickly as possible.
We are on the record in the matter of 01J 503-009-002 and 30110. This matter is here on motion, and at this time it would be helpful if both Ms. Peterson with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services and Ms. Nelson with CASA could advise the court as to the status of the children.
They are doing well. They are in, Shantavia's in Jefferson County Public School Program. Also, ELNA is also.
Well, Shantavia has said repeatedly from the first visit that she wants to run out and get hit by a car so that she can go to heaven or that she can go back home.
Ms. Hagee, do you have any comments on behalf of the social worker about the progress that's been made and the plans that are being made for this summer?
Your Honor, we submit the report, the interim review report, and we're pleased at the way things are going, but there's still a few challenges that we need to look at, and I'm going to defer to the child advocate.
Yes, Ms. Perez.
Well, Jesse's had some struggles through school, although we've talked about his issues and he's realized that he does need help in some areas. We had his IEP, and I'm going to go ahead and carry over next school year because we're hoping that he'll be able to return home with Mom.
We work with social workers, we work with attorneys, and we have a very short time in which to put the family back together again. Frankly, we need help. The juvenile court cannot do this job alone. The juvenile court needs to have the support of the community. And the unique thing about child advocates, about CASA, is that they are the most effective representatives of the community that our country has come up with yet.
The National CASA mission is to recruit, train, and supervise volunteer advocates for abused and neglected children. They are volunteers. They are appointed by the court. Their job is to do fact-finding, to get to know the child, to come to court with that information, share that information with the other parties, and help to make sure that this system gets every one of those kids into a safe, permanent home.
When I would swear in the CASA volunteers, I would explain to them that they had 4 primary duties to the court. The first is to investigate the child's best interest, dispositional options that are in the best interest of the child. The second is to advocate for that child and that child alone within the court system and outside of the court system within the agencies. The third is to facilitate an agreement between the stakeholders and the parties whenever possible. And the fourth is to monitor, to make sure that that child's placement is appropriate, they're safe, and that all of their needs are taken care of, and to report back to the court when anything is not as it should be in that child's life.
One of the things I appreciated most about the CASA program was our social service agency was way overloaded. These caseworkers could not do the job that needed to be done that they wanted to do on hundreds of cases. And a CASA would have 1 case or 2 cases. And I literally believe the CASA saved those children.
Social workers are mandated, certainly during a reunification period, to work with the entire family. So of course they're always looking out for the best interests of the children, but they also are looking at the needs of family members, especially the parents. I think what's wonderful about child advocates is that they are there just for the child, and I think that child advocates are in the home or with the child or their children more frequently than the social workers can ever manage.
Yes, for me as an administrator in child welfare, it is so crucial to have that objective set of eyes. We have staff that become very involved in working with families, working with children, but I recognize that our staff, when they're doing their very best jobs, are actually going to be representing the agency and the agency's perspective. And so one of the questions that I've come to ask over the years on any child in foster care, where we have a question come up about the quality of care, if we have a question about the contested adoption, I always say, what would the CASA recommend? And if they say they don't have a CASA, I say, well, then let's go to court and get a CASA, because there's too much that hangs in the balance of the decisions we make every day not to have that objective set of eyes looking at the case, knowing the child, knowing the family, and someone who really isn't beholden to anyone except the child and family.
My organization, Children's Law Center, represents over 20,000 of the children in foster care in Los Angeles. So as you get a sense from those numbers, we have incredibly dedicated lawyers and staff, but they have huge caseloads. They often represent as many as 150 or 200 children in the system apiece. So the CASA can often be additional eyes and ears for our lawyers in regard to what's going on in the child's life. There have been instances where clients of ours are in psychiatric institutions or in group homes or other settings where it's incredibly helpful for there to be someone who frequently is there every week, sometimes even more than that, sort of getting a sense of what's going on in the child's life, and often the CASA can be a helpful source of information for our staff.
Your role is to be the child's CASA, and it's not your role to push for what's best for the parent or what the parent wants. Not that these things aren't important, but they have an attorney to do that, okay? And they have a social worker who should be very much involved in doing that if they're doing the right, the right thing. So
the CASA volunteers receive a great deal of very thorough, very well-planned training before they come to court. They have to go through a series of classes that are taught by judges, by prosecutors, by social workers. They learn about the court system, they learn about the social service delivery agency, they learn about the law. There is a national standard for training that the CASA program follows. In addition, there is ongoing training and supervision. The CASA program has supervisors who work with each volunteer on the case. If the volunteer is not certain of what to do, they can go to a supervisor, ask for assistance. The supervisor may even attend court with them.
We require 30 hours of training before an advocate can be sworn in to represent a child in the dependency system. In addition to that, we require 12 to 15 hours of continuing education each year. So it's not just a one-shot deal. Our supervisors, they also come from all walks of life. We have former social workers, and we have current social workers. We have attorneys. We have psychologists. We have linguists. We have folks who all come with professional degrees as well. And these are the folks who are also providing the support services and the access to resources to our volunteer advocates.
I'd like the CASA volunteer, Ms. Cockrell, to let me know and tell me what's going on with this family.
Okay. I'm really very proud of Christina. She's done a very good job. I've been on the case since August, and then we had court in December. And I've been monitoring. I go every week, every 2 weeks occasionally. And she's just doing a great job. The kids are well taken care of. The kids are in school. They're smart. They're good kids.
In the majority of cases, reunification is still the primary goal for the child. In practice, that's still the case, at least in my county and in my state. If we look at the reunification plans, the majority of them are still reunification plans. That means that solving mom and dad's issues is what it's all about, to get the child back home safely. And a good CASA recognizes that and can communicate to parents they're supportive of that and can help them get resources. And that there are numerous times when the CASA has identified a resource that the agency has not yet been able to identify.
I mean, she has helped me so much. It's hard to really explain. But without her today, I don't feel that our family would be together, because we would not have been properly represented in court. That's the way I feel.
The social worker was wanting to remove the children. And the GAL, kind of wondered if they couldn't make it work, and the GAL requested a CASA, and that's when we went in. And basically, we just helped them stabilize. We helped them get better housing, treatment plans, that sort of thing, and now they're functioning beautifully.
The first time I met Stephanie, I don't remember the date, but I remember that she took me to Chili's, and then we started talking.
Yeah, we talk like all the time. It kind of gets annoying sometimes, but it's what you have to do. But
National CASA Association, in conjunction with the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, has published a book which is called The Judge's Guide to CASA GAL Program Development. It's a how-to resource tool. It has a chapter written by Judge Len Edwards on the role of the judge as community convener, the person out there in the community who makes the community aware of the need for a CASA program to serve the needs of the children who come before the court that are otherwise not being served. There is also a chapter on ethics. 3 judges went together to put together their thoughts for a judge starting a program as to the canons of ethics, which ones apply, and how the judge can play out the leadership role while maintaining the standards of ethics that they are obligated to.
Our judges are working with National CASA in order to promote the CASA message and also to look at ways that judges can partner more closely with the CASA program nationally and locally as well. And as part of that, Judge J. Dean Lewis has developed a judges page which is on the web and really provides some cutting-edge, very critical information that judges need to know on a regular basis.
We're first of all going to talk about the new training which the Child Advocates have instituted. Nan, why don't you give us an update on that?
Okay, yeah, because we're really excited about it.
The first thing the judge needs to do is to convene a meeting. Let the community know that the judge is interested in identifying people who would like to volunteer on behalf of abused and neglected children. I do this frequently, even though I already have a program. I'll speak at a Rotary Club. I'll speak at a church. I'll speak at a women's group. And I'll say, we have a program, or we're thinking about a program that will permit trained volunteers to work one-on-one with abused and neglected children. Are you interested? I've never given a speech where someone has not come up to me afterwards and said, I would like to help. That's how you start a program.
I think that many of the programs would not have started except a judge said, this is something that I want to happen. I think many more programs will start when judges say, this is something that I want to have happen in my community because I think it will make a difference for children.
What I say is give them a chance, give them the opportunity to show you what they can do. If you think that a court decision is just about making the decision, then you're sadly mistaken. It's about solving a problem, and having more information helps to solve that problem. And CASA provides that information to us.